Imagine embarking on a long journey to move to a new town where you've never been before. Now imagine that journey lasting almost 6 months, covering some of the most remote and rugged terrain in the United States when you had originally planned for a much shorter 6-week trip. Now imagine doing that in the late 1870s with 250 of your closest neighbors using more than 80 wagons and 1,000 head of livestock. This is a story about the route taken by the Hole in the Rock expedition. This is a multi-part series. Part 1 will focus on the portion of the route between Escalante, Utah and 50 Mile Springs Camp. Part 2 will continue from the 50 Mile Springs Camp to the actual Hole in the Rock passage, which leads down to the Colorado River, which is now referred to as Lake Powell. Part 3 will focus on a portion of the route located immediately southeast of the Colorado River, across the slick rock plateaus and canyons which the settlers traversed before eventually establishing the settlement in the Four Corners region on the San Juan River, which is known today as Bluff, Utah. The Hole in the Rock expedition was a Mormon pioneer journey in 1879 to 1880 to settle the San Juan River area in southeastern Utah. Faced with difficult terrain across rugged, slick rock bluffs and canyons, they carved a passage known as the Hole in the Rock through a sandstone cliff to cross the Colorado River, only to face many more difficulties in the second half of their journey. The portion of this route covers approximately 60 miles to the Colorado River after leaving Escalante. Much of the terrain in the first 30 miles of this portion, with the exception of the smooth graded road, has changed little from the time of the journey, crossing high desert rangeland, washes, or canyons which are indicative of springs and creeks. These portions probably felt very monotonous to the settlers, especially when they only made about 10 to 15 miles a day by wagon, herding all the livestock. This is why I have sped up these first few video clips, as I normally do not drive this fast while exploring off-road. Based on reading stories compiled from the journals and diaries of the participants, this area was used as open rangeland for livestock even back before the time of this expedition. There are numerous indications of temporary corrals and watering holes still in use today. The route essentially follows a southeasterly path somewhat parallel to a high mesa formation known appropriately as the Straight Cliffs, located immediately west of the route. These cliffs range from 1,000 to 2,000 feet higher in elevation than the open rangeland and provide a dramatic backdrop during the journey. The first significant landscape feature we encounter related to the expedition is a natural amphitheater which became known as Dance Hall Rock. In an effort to keep spirits high and break up the monotony of the unplanned extended time carving the passage down to the Colorado River, settlers would regularly meet in the evening at Dance Hall Rock to relax, dance, and enjoy music. You can find a short video on my channel specifically focused on a walk-around tour of Dance Hall Rock. Just past Dance Hall Rock, we come across a side path leading to 40 Mile Springs. This area, together with 50 Mile Springs and the area immediately next to the Hole in the Rock Passage, served as the primary camps during the few months it took to carve the passageway. Settlers on this expedition did not all arrive at the same time, and the primary meeting place for all new arrivals was 40 Mile Springs. In June of 1963, an unfortunate incident occurred when a truck carrying scouts and scout leaders were exploring the area and unfortunately went off the edge of these switchbacks through Carcass Wash, and 10 of the scouts and scout leaders were killed. There's a monument here installed to recognize as a memorial to those who passed away. As we get closer to the Colorado River, the washes and canyons get a little bit more rugged and steep. And even though it appears very easy to traverse in our Jeep, I can just imagine having to cross all these washes with wagons and livestock, and you think you've crossed the rangeland till you come across another wash, and the further south you go toward the river, the more rugged they become. I find this very interesting and wonder exactly how the settlers traversed this area. As we rise out of Carcass Wash and move closer to the straight cliffs, we begin to encounter more interesting geologic formations. This next feature, popular for hikers and campers, is known as Sooner Rocks. A tributary of the 40 Mile Springs runs through the Sooner Rocks, and that's what we're crossing right now. You can now see that the elevation change between the high plateaus that we're crossing and the straight cliffs to the west are becoming much higher now. Some of the more prominent cliffs and points are coming up in this next portion of the cliffs. It's a very beautiful set of cliffs with some very unique geological rock formations near the base of the cliffs. taken a side trail over to the 50-mile spring area. This was one of the primary camp spots for the settlers, in addition to 40 Mile Springs and the Hole in Rock Passage area. It is my understanding that at one time there was a small rancher's cabin located in this area. Obviously, it is not there now. But as you see, we get deeper into this campsite. It's obviously a natural corral area for livestock, and it's probably been used by both the settlers when they were here and ranchers for many years. Thank you for taking the time to watch part 1 of my Hole in the Rock trail series. I would appreciate if you like and subscribe to my video channel so you can stay tuned for part 2 of this series. Thank you.